Welcome, YouTube watchers of model railroad layouts. I'm here with John Muccianti, possibly one of the greatest HO private model railroads. And we're going to give you the extended cut. For those of you who've seen our first video, we really appreciate that. We're going to zone in right now as we've got the train coming by. And we're going to take our time.
This is the big boy coming through here. It's one of the biggest steam engines ever built.
And John, how did you get the inspiration? We're going to literally start from the corner. And we're going to show you. We're actually in the corner.
Well, I've always been interested in trains, you know, and I just, as a kid, I was collecting, and I said someday I'd like to have a nice private railroad of my own, and I just started building, and it just grew from there.
And it just grew from there.
You know, there's things that I have to do to make it better, but I'm always improving, you know, as we go along. You know, I get other ideas and I change things around.
Okay.
This is a lumber company right in through here. It's the pond where their logs are going into the lumber mill. You see through there.
And you've got the lumber cars here.
Yeah,
and I just want to get this section over here.
And it goes through various different various states. The Union Pacific Railroad.
Well, let's stay right where
Okay.
we're at, one state at a time.
All right.
We've got the Shannon elevator exchange, and again, we're going to go much slower this time and give people a much longer look at this.
There's a co-op grain elevator.
Okay.
And we've got different industries along. Now you're going through an area. This is Kansas City. No, they're just, it's based off of the real route that the Union Pacific runs on. Starts in Bailey Yard in North Platte, Nebraska.
Okay,
and
Bailey
just
Yard.
goes through all of these areas that I have marked.
So I'm going to kind of walk up and down the aisles.
Turn this train off.
Give you a chance to.
And there's the Swift meatpacking stockyard that you're coming up to. And there's a passenger station letting people off in town.
I got all the cattle in here.
The cattle cars and everything, how they used to haul the cattle.
All the sawdust inside the
ago,
cars.
yeah.
We're going to really give you that extended cut you've been asking for. And thanks again for all the people who've watched our first video. I know some of you have mentioned that we've got Hot Wheels on here and they're not scale, but they are cool. So part of the creativity.
And notice we're coming up to an oil derrick or a refinery.
Yeah, this is great. There is no section of John's layout that has not been touched at this particular
You had mentioned
time.
that they're the Matchbox cars, but over the years I'm slowly changing over as I can afford them. You know, because some of these miniature cars go as high as $25 a piece.
Yeah, I mentioned. I already commented on that. I said, yeah, but the Matchbox cars are so cool. This is actually how you get in down here.
Yeah.
And again, every little section.
And we're coming to a junkyard too up here.
Coming to the junkyard. Zoom back out, and we're going to go back up the other side, and then we're going to come out.
Model railroad is never finished. There's always fine tuning and tweaking, and I'll point things out to you as we go.
All the detail.
This is the junkyard coming up.
Yep. John, tell me about the painting on the back walls.
Well, the painting on the back wall of the backdrop and everything, I had a professional artist painted all of this, and I painted her home several years ago. And we kind of exchanged. I painted her house, and she put a whole week in painting the exterior of her house, and she took a whole week of painting the backdrop all the way around the layout.
So a nice
Yeah.
swap of services.
Yeah.
We've got the deers back there.
The deer.
John, how did you come up with like this whole section where it's like new home back here, the
Well,
building, and
A new home area. There's a restaurant close by, and you've got industry and everything, and people have to be living in those areas to work at those areas, and they usually build a home close to where they work. So I built having new construction going on, the restaurant, the forest, all of the forest and everything. It's all weeds, that are made into trees and everything. Then I kind of made a Christmas scene in through here. To add a little variety.
yeah. But let's just take a look at take a deeper look here.
Just to do a lot of different things on the layout so it doesn't get monotonous. You have a change, from one state to the next. There are different things to look at.
Just spectacular. Is that train still running or no?
No, I turn it off for now,
Okay.
but I can get it going when we get over to that area.
Okay. All the people waiting on the bus. I'm actually going to go back down this section just to show you where we just came from, and we're gonna go back in the extended cut, and I'm going to show you the other half of this. And there's just tons of detail throughout, as you can see.
Still a farming area. There's the co-op and the grain elevator and a dairy building, various facilities, and then a little while we'll be coming up
Cranes,
to
we
a city.
come up to the city area on this side.
There's taller buildings and so forth. And you don't have miles and miles of room like you do in real life, so you kind of designate every few feet as a different state or a different area. You have to imagine that you're traveling, through time and going places, but you have limited space, so you give the suggestion of distance and everything by changing the scenery. There's a building on fire there. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
That's
we
the fire
can.
department there, and the lights are
see
flashing
the
and
fire
everything,
department
and
guys.
the road's blocked off, and firemen around the hooking ladder there. TV crew is there because it's a big building on fire, and it's close to some pretty tall skyscrapers.
And we're going to
So-
see more of that when we get on the other side.
See more of that, when you get to the other place here.
The people here. Some
And you'll be leaving the city, and you'll be going into a mountainous area. As you come around, it'll be a coal mine, an industrial area.
Now we're coming to this mountain here.
And I'll back the big boy up around there, and then when you shoot, we'll come see the big boy coming out around the mountain.
John, how'd you create this mountain? This thing is
Well,
just...
it's plaster. There's molds I created that I made, and it's a plaster cloth just wrapped around the different forms. They had stuffed paper underneath and everything.
How'd you
to
come up with the
crinkle
idea of
that.
having like the guy sitting in the chair, and I see there's a little section of...
Well, I try to come up with different things. Anything in my imagination that maybe see in a newspaper or on TV or in real life, and then I just kind of use my imagination and just try to put things in that I would enjoy. As you come around the mountain there, you'll see a plane wreck. Now, there's still work that has to be done. The plane is intact yet, but you see, like I said, that model railroad is never done, and I'll be breaking up that plane and everything into pieces and everything and making it more realistic. But you have to realize that this is in miniature, and it takes years and years to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but you see the landslide here, and then you got the
So we got to take the shot.
heavy equipment in here to block off the road and to pick up. You know, but
Yeah.
like I said, you know, things still have to be done. You know, and refine. I see certain things that don't look quite right, and you know, you change it. You know, it's kind of an experimental kind of a thing.
Great. Well, I'm going to, we just came down that path, and we're here. Now I'm going to go down this path here, and you can see John's cases with his trains.
These are trains trains that are not running. I'll put in the display case, and every once in a while I'll take some cars out of there, and I'll make up different trains and with different cars, passenger cars, freight, steam, and the like.
Here's where we're back.
And you got just a town here where, you know, alongside the tracks, so you got the, you know, different, got a farmer's market, there's
backdrop and
Kentucky Fried Chicken, and there's a train station, you know, and just various things.
hamburgers.
Yeah, hamburger joint, you know, people have to eat, and there's a little bus stop, a bus pulls in to have the people go into a little diner.
The Howard Johnson.
Yeah, Howard Johnson, you know, all the different things, whatever buildings I come across or felt like building, you know, I would put together. And you have another little small town coming up. It's not like the skyscrapers, just a country town, you know, with the fire department and, you know, a grocery store. Yeah, you know, things like that. You know, there's a suggestion of a bigger town in back with the backdrop, and you can see the skyscrapers, but this is the small town in front.
Mm-hmm.
And
People at the store.
yeah, people at the store and everything, and you know, just a typical
Some,
small town.
Got some wiring here on the telephone line. If you could see that telephone line, you see that wire on some of it. Here we are with a section of the boats here in the water.
Yeah, there's a ship pulled in at the harbor there, and you know,
The Texaco boat.
and again some other industry along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Side way here.
And you can see the nice
More display cases.
up on the top. And we're here. Look at the people. I like some of the creativity of like the person standing there, you know, wanting to get something, or like we're back here at the dump truck area and the people standing around getting that figured out. Even like back in the end where there's
Now, for clarity, I will explain that this has been a 30-year project, and you have to remember when certain things were done 30 years ago, I didn't know quite enough about the hobby. So as I go along, there's things change. I'm not going to point those out to you, but for the serious model railroader, you'll see inconsistencies. But those are the things. This is why a railroad is never finished. I'm always changing and upgrading things. And
okay. Yeah, you know what, let's we're gonna we've shown you a bunch of John's cars, and I just want to give you a quick shout out.
I hit my friends.
This is Dan Jagger, and for those of you who want to pause on that, he has a lot of the cars. You could take a look at his website. We're gonna pull that down. No, we'll just pull this down. They've got a chance to see that. And let's so if you want to get some of those cars that are some of the cars that, like for example, we could use
All on
cars,
top. Those are a lot of Don's cars.
the weathered cars and things, and you know, those type of cars, Union Pacific, etc., are all the kind of cars that Don's worked on and done. They're not the cheapest cars, but they're definitely the best looking. So, but let me pull back here just a little bit and give people the overall perspective of what we're looking at back here. And again, this is the extended cut. We did a quick YouTube video and people said, I wish the camera was less shaky and I wish I could see more. So we are giving you, the audience, what they want.
And coming up, I have a John Deere facility with all of the tractors and the type of farm equipment that they make. You know, it's a pretty stocked yard, and they probably have to start shipping some of their equipment out. They don't have room for new things that they're manufacturing and making.
Okay, so far we've just come from that area there and we walked around there, and now to give you a perspective, we're on this side of the mountain and we're going to come all the way down the center here. There's John and his other mountain. So we'll take this section of the mountain. There's a cool board that John's put together with some of his layout and all the details there. There's a train backing up as we're talking. Guy on top of that there. John, could you be kind enough and grab that cord?
Yeah, good. Hold on.
There we go. Give it a yank.
So it's on a chair.
Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Slow down. But here's the mountain. You can see people. John, how'd you come up with people need to climb the mountain?
Well, you hear mountain climbers and everything. And
Why not?
Across, and I said, why not? Let's put some mountain. We get some interest. Put some mountain climbers up there.
Person sitting down there. Just all.
And the coal mine at the base of the mountain.
Let me give you kind of a perspective here as I back up a little bit. There was the city. We saw the other side of it. We're going to see this side of it now. And John, I've seen your layout. You've been kind enough to show me and share with me several times, and I mean, you just can't take it all in. You know, even myself, I've seen it several times, and you're always seeing something else that's new or different or something along those lines.
Now you're approaching Bailey Yard,
Okay.
and that's the main
To
yard.
give you an
of Union
idea, there's the
Pacific.
perspective. And here's the city from the other side. You can see the people in the city if we look at the detail. There's the fire John was talking about, the fire trucks, the perspective of the city. We come up, we're down here in the yard as he was sharing.
My caboose.
Got this bridge here.
This is here. This is Bailey Yard, and this is where the Union Pacific originates in Bailey Yard in North Platte, Nebraska. Now it doesn't look exactly like Bailey Yard because it's a huge yard that goes on for a mile or more and has just tons and tons of track. But here again, when you're modeling something, you can't put everything because obviously you don't have the miles like they do in real life. So you make a suggestion of the Bailey Yard.
Yes.
I'll get the train going in here. It's coming through.
All right.
Big boy.
We'll get the big boy kind of running through there, through the yard. I don't see that running around, but from the level of detail, that's great. Yeah, sure. And now we're gonna still more of the yard. All these units are pretty much all powered too, aren't they,
Powered,
John?
yeah, all of them are, yeah.
Which is amazing in and of itself. Give me just a second. I want to zoom in on.
Now you'll be coming up to a carnival or a circus area. I'm gonna turn it
Give
on.
me 1 second for
Okay.
the circus because I still want to give people the perspective of all the wiring and rigging.
You know, you got your telephone lines and your cables going from one place, and there's a power plant in there that's obviously supplying the power to all those industries and buildings and everything.
And again, to give you perspective, we just walked down that path, and so far at the 20-minute mark, we've shown you one of the sections here. John, turn on the circus. And here's the circus. We'll kind of feature one at a time.
Right here shows
Circus is great. So for those of you who want the extended cut, this is what we're giving you. As well as all the detail of the things in the background. The tornado. John, does the tornado work?
Yeah, it does, but it seems like it's
Not
jammed
working
or
today.
something. It's not working today.
All right.
You gotta send the engineers out there.
Usually the tornado's working, but not working today. And then we come back. We'll shut that off, John. Okay, now we're going to show you this section of the layout. There we go. And as we show you this
It's a
section,
deep gorge and everything at the river down at the bottom of the
how'd
gorge.
you come up with the deep gorge?
Yeah, you know, in places you see valleys and everything, and it gives it some interest, you know, so everything's not on a flat plane. You know, you get the depth and everything, so that kind of helps things out.
Yeah, the depth, John, is really cool.
The car's not going. Excuse me.
All right.
Got jammed. Now the roller coaster has to be worked on.
All right, we'll work on the roller coaster. You said earlier it's never.
Well, you're never done.
Completely
There's
done,
always,
yeah.
just like in real life, there's repairs that have to be made, things that have to be maintained.
Yes. We'll be walking down this way. You see the train. Matter of fact, keep the big boy right there.
Okay, there.
Actually,
I'll leave it there over the going
Yeah.
over the trestle.
that's one of my favorite spots. That is the favorite spot. We got some skiers as they ski down the mountain. Yeah, relatively low flying plane right there, but that's fine. And on the ski hill, we've got the skiing and little party section here.
And coming up is like the area of it's not the Grand Canyon, but it's a big gorge and everything, and there happens to be a filming crew out there, and you'll see that there's a stunt going on. Tightrope walkers are going without nets and doing an aerial act
There's
across the
tightrope
canyon.
John's talking about.
And there's people on the TV station, they're kind of watching
There's
them,
the
and
TV
everything's being
station.
televised. Just to hear again,
The
just
TV
another thing to add a
stations.
little interest.
Watching the people here. And there they are up on the tightrope. perspective of that. There is the perspective. Thank you, John. And here we are on the bridge. And John, this is quite the bridge. Let me
Yeah, I've got,
actually back
it's
out
all
to give you the visual.
individual
There's John,
piece.
just to give you how big the person is versus the bridge. Tell me about the bridge.
Well, I just needed something to get from one area to the next, and there's nothing you can buy, so you have to build something in place on a curve that would fit that area. So I just started making templates and everything, and start putting the trusses and cross beams and everything in. And right now I've got 1,145 pieces, and this side is complete, hand built. It's like I said, 1,145 pieces, and on this back side, it's not done. The cross bracing's not in yet, and it's going to probably take another. I calculate another 200
Pieces.
pieces of timber, but it takes time to do that.
It
It
does.
takes me probably a month to do that in itself. So I'll
Okay,
get the train
here's the
going.
next section where
call
the
it
next
hold on.
and last section.
Another
We've been
hold on.
over there. We're coming here, and we're gonna go down this section and end up again. John, tell me about the yard here.
Well, the yard over there, it's just another freight yard, in Sacramento, California. When you have a layout and you're running things prototypically, you're going from one freight yard in one state and you're going several states away, there's other freight yards. So I've got another freight yard with a shipping area for, hauling trucks and different types of box cars and everything. You set up trains from California, it'll go on to another destination.
Oh,
And then all of those different lights, you'll see light up, so the switches are either throwing for straight travel or for a curve.
You're throwing them for a curve every now and then, huh, John?
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Oops, slight power delay, but we still got. If you want, John, there's a socket right here, right there by the railroad sign, right behind you. Turn around, right behind you, by the railroad. Okay. Okay, there we go. Just in time for our big boy to come around the corner. Perfect timing, John. And the people.
Yeah, it's another Union Pacific engine facility. These are all powered. All of the engines are powered.
Okay.
Another control panel indicating, which switches are being thrown.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just for perspective, we just came down that section there, and we're going to wrap up here in our last section.
And just more industry as you go along. This is another manufacturer.
Fishing there.
Probably hikers along the way, I think, on that side.
yeah.
Walking,
Here's,
cement company
here's
coming up.
continuing- Here's continuing through the gorge, just for
The gorge and everything from different
kind of a
sides.
visual. The gorge keeps going through here and comes around over another couple of wonderful bridges and ends up here. And down here we've got fishermen and kayakers and people on the rocks. More mountain climbing activities.
More mountain climbers up there you'll be seeing.
industry here.
10 minutes before supper, ready. Will you be
Alright.
us or shall it yours aside?
And we've
We'll
got
be done in
this
10
one.
minutes, huh? My wife's
We
got
will,
dinner ready.
yes.
Oh, text her back. I will be you
Alright. And as we take a look at the
minutes.
massive perspective of the mountain, and we just walk down this way, and as we wrap around, John, stay right there
Okay, okay.
where you're at my favorite spot,
Alright,
which
I
is
got
right
the
there.
Pacific coming into the Bailey Yard, so I'm going to turn them off.
Alright, go ahead, turn that off.
When it comes in, then here, you want to see it approaching you.
Go ahead, shut it off.
Okay, I'm going to have it come into the yard now.
All right. And there we have
All right.
the total perspective of this layout. And John, stay right there. John, thanks for being on my car story.
Okay, it was a pleasure.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. Thanks for being on the show.